Greetings, YouTube. I am SilverLugia249 of the Luna Gamers. I'm a bit more somber than I usually am. I mean, usually when you see me on these videos, I'm happy, perky and the like, but I just got done watching. I don't know if you, well, I'm sorry, I'm having a really tough time getting my train of thought together, so forgive me, and I should probably warn you guys right now, I may get a little emotional, which doesn't happen to me a lot during recordings, so I apologize in advance. And another thing I'd warn you about is the amount of language and the amount of words that may pass my lips. You're likely going to hear things you would never hear me say, I would never say. I consider myself a very level-headed person. I have my fair share of I have a short temper, I will admit, and I do get anger quite easily, but after what I saw, I think I'm justified in saying and being a little emotional. If you recall a few days ago, oh God, it's already happening, I'm sorry. If you recall a few days ago, I made a video, me and my group did, about an analyst by the name of Keyframe who was in an abusive home, and they were raising funds for her to get her out of her abusive home and to start a new life. And I'm happy to announce that the funding was a very, very huge success. I mean, I didn't even expect so much money to get raised, and that's probably part of the reason why I'm a little emotional. It's joyful emotions, you know what I mean? For a few days of this raising, we managed to raise, the community itself managed to raise $23,000, and wow, just seeing that alone, and seeing the stories of all the analysts, honestly, it moved me. It really did. I know this fandom is capable of very amazing things, and it has proven that once more. So one reason why I love this fandom. We have our ups, we have our downs, we have our fun. From the analysts to the artists to the musicians to people who just overall enjoy the fandom and people who just do other things like our group. We just do Let's Play. We're just a group of bronies that love playing games. I mean, that's the point of our channel. We all think Luna's the best princess, and we all love games. That's why we do our Let's Plays. It's a thing for us to do with our friends, and it's just something we enjoy doing, and it's our passion. We're not looking to become famous or anything. I mean, hell, we barely have like over 13, 14 subscribers, but we don't care. We do this for fun. We're not looking to be famous, but when we heard about Keyframe's situation, we all immediately donated what we could. I donated $30, another member donated $10, another member donated $20. Between our group, we must have raised anywhere about $70, $80 to help her out, and we don't regret it, not one bit. And I just got done watching the Aftermath video, and I will be putting a description of that down there in the comments, so I highly recommend you guys to check it out, because me talking here alone doesn't do it justice, but basically it's the reactions of what everyone went through, and Keyframe herself actually came out and spoke about what happened to her, and it got me emotional. That poor girl has been through 8 years of living hell. Fucking hell from her own parents. That is some fucked up shit. It really is. And it pains me. It pains me deeply to know that there are people out there, parents especially, who would do that kind of thing to their children. It brings a tear to my eyes. It really does. I gotta keep talking. it makes me recount some of the hardships I went through when I was growing up, because I went through my fair share of hell, too, when I was growing up. Not from my family, but from school. From elementary to middle to high, even through college. I'm not even kidding, college. You think by college, people would learn to grow the fuck up and mature, but no. There are still little mean-spirited people out there. As to me myself, why I got picked on a lot. I have ADHD. I'm not afraid to admit this. I'm dealing with it on a daily basis. I've learned to control it. For several years of my life, I was on medication. Very, very heavy medication to control my ADHD, and every medication I took, I had a really, really bad side effect. One medication suppressed my appetite so bad I was hardly eating. I mean, I was literally so skinny, you could see my bones. Literally, I would lift up my shirt, you could literally feel my ribcage. I'm still a pretty skinny guy, but I am nowhere near as bad as I used to be when I was very young. My appetite suppression was that bad. I was literally a walking skeleton. It scared my parents. I didn't know any better, but it scared my parents. They took me off that medication. I put on another medication. I stayed on that for several years. And then my body for some reason or another, started rejecting it. I was getting severe stomach cramps. Imagine the sensation of basically having a dagger stabbed into your stomach and someone twisting it. That's what it felt like. It was that bad of pain, and I had to endure it during the last few months I was on that medication. So they switched me again. And the third one was the worst. And it happened at a really, really bad time during my life. The third medication I was on messed with me so bad, I had a really bad reaction to it. I started getting depressed. I didn't realize it was a medication at first. But then what made it even worse was shortly after that, my grandmother had passed away. And during the funeral, this is something I don't like talking about, but I need to say it. I learned a very terrible secret about my uncle. A very, very terrible secret, and I'm disappointed myself I didn't pick up on this earlier. He's an abuser. Not in the sense of, like, physically hitting anybody or beating anybody, but he's a shit talker. He will literally cut people down emotionally to make himself feel better and to fuel his own goddamn ego. And what he did to my mother, I will never forget. I will never forget it. Shortly after we came back from the funeral, we were at my late grandmother's house, and we were clearing out the trash, right? I was with my dad over at the dump. We were unloading the trash, getting out of the house. We got a call from my grandmother saying we needed to get back to the house as soon as possible because my mother had left the house in tears. At some point during my absence, when I was trying to help my dad, my uncle had decided that he didn't like the way my mom was trying to rearrange the house. She was basically moving things out of locations and basically stacking them in an area, you know, trying to get organized. My uncle didn't like the way it was being organized. I wasn't there witnesses, but according to my grandma, the exact words that passed his lips were, "If you weren't my sister, and if you were a guy, I would beat the shit out of you." I have never been so angry in my entire life. I have never wanted to kill somebody so badly. It made me so mad. That's a scary thought. It really is. When you want to kill somebody, especially someone that's your relative, I had to do everything in my power to resist going back to that house and beating the shit out of my uncle. I wanted to so badly. My depression only got worse after that. My uncle showing his true colors. My aunt passing away. And the reaction I was having from this medication I was on, I was at the end of my rope. I wanted to commit suicide so badly. I was thinking about it. What brought me out of that was this fandom. A friend of mine introduced me to My Little Pony. Through that and discovering this community, I was able to rebuild myself. I was able to get my self-esteem back up, and I was able to come my seclusion. For a while there during my depression, I closed myself off to the world. I hardly ever came out of my house. I hardly ever talked to anybody. I just wanted to be left alone. It was a really bad year of my life, and My Little Pony brought me out of it. It really did. I guess the point I'm trying to make here is, I understand Keyframe's pain. I haven't been to the same degree of the abuse she's been through. I haven't been through the same amount of hell that I've been through, but I can imagine what she's been through. And I know it hurts. It really, really hurts. Another instance I can recall where I was really hurt was when I was living in an apartment with a roommate of mine. It started out great, but he had anger issues. And unlike me, he actually got physical with me. One night when he lost his temper, he went and he grabbed me and pinned me down to a bed and started strangling me. I was literally gasping for air, unable to move. And I was only able to get away by kicking and flailing, and I managed to kick him in the face hard enough that he actually backed away. I ran for the phone. I ran out of the apartment. I called my parents and I told them, "You need to get me the hell out of here right now. Something terrible has happened." I'm so glad my mother was supportive. She didn't ask questions. She didn't ask what happened. The only words that came out of her mouth was, "I'll be right there." I came home, retarded the event. Next day, we went back to my apartment. I got my stuff out of there while he was at work. I got the hell out of there without saying a word. As to this day, I don't know where he is, and frankly, I don't care. He can go fuck himself for all I care. I'm done with him. He tried to contact me on Facebook like a couple years back. I just ignored him. I never want to talk to that motherfucker again. I'm sorry, I'm the kind of guy you hurt. I want nothing more to do with you. There are gonna be no second chance with me. You fuck with me once, you're not getting a second chance. Alright. I think this video's going on long enough and I'm already crying, as you can probably tell. But I've been through my fair share of pain. I'm going to see a fandom where they understand. Keyframe, if you're watching this by some freaking coincidence or anybody else, I wish for you a bright future. I wish you the very best. If you ever find yourself in the Missouri area, look me up. Look me up. I'll be there if I can. I don't know you, I've never met her, but I feel like we're connected just based on what we've been through. If you're ever here, if you ever want to meet me, send me a private message on YouTube or Facebook. I'll be there if I can. I'm going to embrace you. I'm going to tell you it's okay. It's all over. Get out of there as soon as you can. You deserve a far better life than what you've been through. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and once again, just thank you all for being a caring community. I wish you the best. SilverLugia249.